evening, and welcome to the Seven Sense Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Laurel Cooper. Tonight, we have a guest who has written an interactive book for adults in the paranormal field. It is called The RELIVING. It's a really interesting read. I've read it quite a few times. Do not read it at nighttime in the dark by yourself. The book itself is an amazing read, but the interactive part is this DVD right here. The DVD has little groupings of chapters that actually shows you her real life experiences. So I'm excited. I have her today with me on the phone. Jude Matthews, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, thank you so much for coming on my show. So The RELIVING, the book, the DVD, tell me all about it. Why did you want to first start it?
Well, actually, it didn't start as a book. I had no intention of writing a book. It started because I was trying to keep track of things that were happening in the house.
Okay.
If I had, like, a door that I would shut, and then I'd go back downstairs and it's open, and I was alone in the house, and it was starting to get confusing. It was hard to remember, did I set that phone there? Did I shut that door? So I started keeping a log.
Right.
And then the log kind of became a journal because I started writing how I was feeling when certain events would happen. And then from there, it just progressed into a book.
Oh, wow. Well, just seeing what you have on your DVD alone, I got some goosebumps, I'm not going to lie. And I stopped watching it at night. Because it's a little scary, but something else I've noticed is it kind of stirs up my own activity in my own house. I don't know if you've had that experience or not, playing your own DVD back. Like, it kind of stirs some stuff up here.
Yeah, when you replay the EVPs, which I have there's quite a few, but there's one session that's very long. And when I actually play that in the house before I set up a recording, I don't do it all the time, but I do it quite frequently. And my theory, which is the theory, I'm not sure it's true, but what seems to happen, it's kind of like if you were looking for a good restaurant or a good nightclub or something to go to. If you go by one that's really quiet, you're probably not going to think it's good. You're not going to be interested in going inside. But when you hear a lot of noise and, there's a lot of people inside, it seems more popular. That's kind of like my theory on why this works. But when you play the EVPs, it does stirs up my house, and other people have told me the same thing. They've had almost immediate experiences that they couldn't explain.
Yeah,
I think they can hear themselves. They can hear. It's a draw. I think it just draws them in.
right. Well, I know that, we're going to break the camera for a second or break the fourth wall and actually say that, we've tried to do this recording 4 times or 5 times. And every time something weird happens. So, hopefully this is the good one.
Yeah, luckily, it's calmed down now, but right before you called, some of the electronics in the house went kind of nutty. We have a lot of trouble with electronic things, and it was very loud, so it would have been disturbing. So hopefully it doesn't happen during this interview.
Hopefully. Of course, actually, hopefully not. I want to hear some stuff. I just don't want to have the electronics go malfunction.
I want to talk about the one time we were recording and we were discussing how the paranormal activity was interfering, and all of a sudden somebody on the phone, remember they said sorry?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was...
Who it was. Was pretty interesting.
It was pretty cute though, like, sorry. Like, okay. You're forgiven. So, back to the book. When did you first start believing in the paranormal?
Well, when we first moved here, I did not believe at all. I think it actually took me almost 3 years to finally just accept that this was possible, because I didn't believe any of this stuff. And it sounds ridiculous that it took me 3 years, but as soon as I was able to debunk something or figure out why something happened, my first thought would be, well, I can figure out why all of this is happening. There's a reason why everything's happening. But, of course, that's not the case. And, now we still have some things that, I still question a lot of things. And before I'm settled on the fact that it's paranormal. If it sounds like someone's breaking into the house,
Yeah.
we have that a lot.
I bet.
I get a gun and I act as if somebody is breaking into the house. So far, it's always been paranormal. Although we have had intruders on this property. Well, I think they're real people. I actually don't know. One of them might not have been, but not inside the house. We haven't. But yeah, it's took me 3 years.
I'm sorry. I'm just kind of shook about that. What? What happened with that?
I have a tendency to go off onto different topics sometimes. I apologize.
No, but that's gossip too. What do you mean if someone's on your property and an intruder on your property?
The first time it happened, we have a place on the property that we nicknamed the Secret Garden. And we have a little bridge and there's a little tiny creek. And you can't really see the Secret Garden because there's trees all around it. But in the fall, when the leaves fall off, you can see a lot better. And one year, I had my dogs upstairs. They were barking at something, and we had recently had moose on the property, and I thought it was another moose. So I shut the little gate to keep the dogs in, and I stood up there on the deck. We have a deck on the second floor, and was looking down into the Secret Garden, and I couldn't see anything, but I could hear it. And I thought it was a moose, so I was yelling at the moose, "Hey moose, get on out of here!" And
hey moose, that's cute.
Thinking maybe it would leave.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, a person came out from the bushes or whatever. But what was so weird about it is our dogs are big dogs. So when they would bark, they were very intimidating sounding. And everybody here, we live in a rural area, and everybody here has guns and targets shoot in their backyard and stuff. What was so weird about this guy is he walked like he was bored. He had his hands in his front pockets of his pants, and he was just walking like he didn't have a care in the world, like he was just bored to death. And he was going so slow, and here the dog is growling and barking, and I just thought human nature would make you turn around and look.
Yeah.
Make sure I haven't let loose this thing that's going to come and eat you.
Like, come get me Cujo kind of thing or something.
What?
It's like releasing Cujo or something.
Yeah, and make sure I'm not pointing a gun at you.
Right.
It was just his behavior. He was completely, not brown jeans and a baseball cap. And,
that's
I
a
never saw his
person.
face.
That's a person.
Sorry, I
Whoo!
couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. I was like, that's a person. Baseball cap on.
Yeah, it was just really weird. And I have not. I can't explain this person's demeanor. The way he was acting was like he couldn't hear us. And I have no idea why he was on our property. And then where he went across our driveway, and then there is another 6 feet. But you have to, it's very difficult to explain, but where he disappeared and may have gone over a fence, this isn't the kind of fence that, a person would want to go over.
Oh my gosh.
All wire and, it's not barbed wire, but it's going to cut you up trying to go over the fence. So I just didn't understand. And then there's a, I don't know what you call it. It's where the fence is, the property goes way down. So now you're talking an 8-foot difference between the ground and the top of the fence. I don't know how this guy got out of there, because by the time he gets to the fence, there's trees and things that are blocking, and I couldn't see him anymore. So I'm not really sure if that was a person or not. The other time I was asleep, and my husband leaned onto the bed and whispered in my ear, "It's time to wake up."
Aww.
And I started arguing with him "Oh, why do I have to get up right now? What are we doing? And is there any coffee?" And he didn't answer me. And I'm sorry, excuse me. I kept, kind of arguing with him, "Oh, please, I just want to go back to sleep."
Right.
And then all of a sudden it occurred to me, he wasn't here. I don't know who the hell whispered in my ear, but I jumped up, grabbed the gun, and started, I was shaking so bad.
Oh my gosh.
And I started looking for the person, and I kind of figured the only thing you could do is hide on his side of the bed, get down on the floor
Right.
or something. There wasn't anybody, I couldn't find anybody, but I know I was awake. I mean, it isn't something I dreamt. Him leaning on the bed is what woke me. So when he whispered in my ear, I was awake, and it sounded just like my husband. But he travels for work, he was gone on a trip, so I was completely shaken. I obviously didn't go back to sleep. I got up, I went out, turned the light on, went into the kitchen, and started to make coffee, and there's a window, and I could see out the window a man. It's dark outside, but we had lights outside, and he was leaving the garage area. We have a detached garage, and he was taking off, and it all happened really fast. Had he been wearing brown clothes, I might have thought I was mistaken, because it still was kind of dark, and that maybe it was a deer. But everything on him was blue. He had blue jeans, a blue jacket.
Oh, wow.
There's no blue animals that I know of. So that was the second time that I saw somebody on the property. And also the first time I realized that the paranormal activity in this house is not only not evil at all, it's helpful.
Right.
Because had that not happened and woke me up, I don't know that this person wasn't going to break into the house or steal something, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened.
Oh my gosh. Well, then your house is like a safe haven then for you if they're going to help you out too. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. What did your husband think about that afterwards?
I don't know. It took him a long time also, because neither one of us came here believing this kind of stuff.
Right.
But, now I would say he's a full-blown believer, and he has had some even more extreme experiences than I've had.
Really?
Now, he's actually seen one of the children, and I have not had the privilege to actually see them. I've talked to them, I interact with them.
That's cool, though.
I can hear them, but I have not actually seen a full identifiable apparition. Like, he can identify that this was a female child.
Oh, that's cute, though.
We have a lot of children, and they really love him. I would say I think they love me too, but you can see on a lot of the equipment and in the DVD and in the next book I'm doing, there's a lot more children. But you can see how if he sits on the couch and we have a SLS camera, and that enables you to see spirits in like a stick figure form, and they always come and sit by him and sit with him and interact with him.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it really is. It's really amazing to be a part of and to watch. But he has had some very strange experiences here.
Yeah, I've seen some of these experiences you have, like you sent me a video to play, and I mean, I'm seeing bowls, I'm seeing doors, I'm seeing lights, I'm seeing chandeliers swaying, and whoa. So if you have all this on video, and he has more experiences than this, could we just put a camera on him 24/7? Like,
no, he's not had more experiences. He's had more impactful experiences.
Okay.
He's seen things that, well, one of the experiences I have, I can try to debunk or try to fit, his are absolute. Like when you see the little girl, he's had, there was one time when his parents were here visiting, and I had gone out with some of my friends for like an annual Christmas dinner thing that we do. And so they were going to spend the evening, here, and he got kind of frustrated, came up to our room, and when he laid down on the bed, he saw a table across the room. It's very hard to explain. It would take forever, but it was literally almost hovering. It was attached to a piece of molding. We have wainscoting in our bedroom.
right.
So the table was hanging off what I would say is maybe a half an inch of the lip of the wainscoting at the top. And it was just, I mean, when you see something like that, there was also a statue on top of the table. It was just outrageous. I can't even explain to you.
I'm sorry, I'm just shook right now. I'm sitting here shook with my mouth wide open like, what?
Yeah, some of the things he says are, they're just, for him, it's kind of like, there's no way. There's just no way
Right.
This can't happen. So, it's been, a very interesting experience, but I'm very glad he believes now, because that was very frustrating for me.
I bet.
In the beginning, trying to explain something to him, and, a lot of times he would just write it off like, maybe you just forgot that, you did this, and...
Right.
Like, no, I didn't forget. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, actually, just thinking about it, your book kind of reminds me of like a opening for a Stephen King movie or something, where the couple moves out of town and to a different country, and the husband goes out of town for work, and the wife's having experiences, and he's not believing her at first. It sounds like a Stephen King book.
Yeah, there are so many things that happened that I have literally, there are people that have told me that they think I'm just making it up, and I'm like, you can, like the real estate agent, was this really sweet woman, and we'd even had plans to meet up after we moved here.
Right.
Because I didn't know anybody. I've never been, we moved to another state, to a rural community. You can't see a house, a car, a human being. We're way out there. So we had plans to meet and hang out, and she was very active and very, just a person with a bundle of energy. And she died I think it was about 24 hours after we moved in. And this was the last house she ever sold. Now, I'm not going to attribute what happened to her to the house at all.
Right.
Where in some books and stuff, movies, they would say the house did it.
Right.
The house didn't do that, but I don't believe that. But
it does.
It was really unfortunate that happened, and it really did kick off. We found out while we were driving here that she had been flown to California so we were coming from California to Washington, and she'd been flown to California for a specialist, and she did not know, but her body was just consumed with cancer.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
And so, that was the first, I don't know, that was the first, everything about moving here, it's wonderful now, but when we first moved in here, this was horrible. I mean, the day we got here and walked in, what we had seen 31 days before when we toured the house with the real estate agent was this bright, clean house.
Right.
And it did have some creepy aspects to it, yeah, but it was only 31 days later, and when we walked in, this was the filthiest, most bizarre thing I'd ever seen. And there was some goopy finish on all the fixtures, light switches. It was a brown, sticky film. There was like mud all over the place, and handprints and fingerprints were everywhere on the ceiling, the walls, everywhere you can imagine. And the smell in the house, never smelled anything like it. I don't know what it was. It wasn't like a dead animal, or I don't know what the hell it was.
Oh my gosh.
It was very weird. The only thing we could think of was because the previous owners had built the house, they custom built this house and then took off pretty quickly. And I think that because the house was empty for so long, that there was probably, maybe teenagers coming here and getting high or something. But there was no traces of anything. I mean, there was no beer cans there was nothing. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just couldn't believe the difference in just 31 days. In 31 days, there were like giant cobwebs that I never saw.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was so strange. And we walked in, and I was here about 5 minutes before I burst into tears.
Oh, no.
And the house was so dark and so, I don't know. It just had a completely different vibe to it than when we first seen it.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know how to react to that. I would have just been like, no, I want my money back. I'll go back to California. I'm done. I don't want to do this.
Yeah. I was very, very creeped out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I would be.
When we first, it was very weird.
Sandy. I'm a friend of June's, visiting from Southern California with my husband, Harold. We're not here to harm you. We're here to help June understand what's going on in this house. Are you here with us? Are there any children here? Are you here now? The man that June saw outside, are you with us now? Are you with us now?